Thank you, dear colleagues. Nice to see you, and it is really an honor to present about the child protection system in Hungary as a labor and social lawyer. I teach it at the university as a social lawyer. All my colleagues are family lawyers, so I'm a little bit out. But in social law, we deal with the system of child protection, and that is the focus also of my chapter in the book on child protection system, because we are all representing chapters, countries, and reports from this child protection system book, which is part of the series on the child protection, and we edited it together with Marta Benyus. It was a nice job, so thank you very much for participating. And what about the Hungarian situation? How I built this presentation up. First, I think it was very important to have the fundamental law basis for child protection. As lawyers, we all know that this is the basis for everything. And of course, all the international standards are laid down in our fundamental law. And you can see the protection of the children and the protection of families are the key points. And this is how our child protection system is really organized afterwards. If family, marriage, and children are in the focus, then this is a good point of view where we start. And how the child protection is formulated in the main act, and sorry, we step just a little bit back, because you can see at the bottom the fundamental laws and the legal acts that govern child protection, and you can see which we often call in Hungary protection of children and the administration of guardianship. This is, the abbreviation is GVT. This is the basis. And why this is important? Because you can see that it comes from 1997. It has been amended 2 times at least. And it has all the very important international principle standards in theory. And this is my main message to you, that we have this child protection system very well functioning in theory. But unfortunately, in practice, we have many shortages. Maybe we are not the only one as country. And this main act also defines what child protection is. And it is very important as an activity aimed at promoting the upbringing of children in the family, preventing and eliminating their vulnerability, and providing substitute protection for children leaving parental care or other care. And we can see that the Hungarian system is based on 2 different levels. And of course, in these 2 parts, we have got sub-levels, because it is such a compound system. And when we look at the general protection, then you can see that the general child protection means supporting the upbringing of children in the family and preventing them from becoming vulnerable. And actually, most of the points in this chart, as I've been thinking of this chart now, because I'm so impressed of the child participation platform, I think they focus many times on this general part in their charts. They call us adults to support families so they can be strong and loving. And we can see in the Hungarian child protection system that we have got this very important general protection part, providing many programs for families and for mothers. And we have got the special part, as we have seen Dominic from the participation platform representing a children's home. The special child protection guarantees special protection for orphans, abandoned children, and children at risk. And this is a very delicate area. And we can also see children at risk. In the book that we've been working on, it's been a very important issue: who are children at risk? And in my presentation, I looked at data from the Central Statistic Office, where you can see who are at risk. And we have the number from 2022, where you can see more than 84,000 persons who are identified and disadvantaged. And there are more who are severely disadvantaged. But what is endangerment in our legal act? You can see condition resulting from conduct, omission or circumstance by the child or another person which hinders or prevents the child's physical, mental, emotional or moral development. And you can see who are the main reasons for being endangered. There are welfare services, child welfare services, for the 140,000 or so vulnerable minors, and we can see the environmental factors the most affecting them, the least behavioral, then material, health, and 5% of minors were at risk due to abuse and 17% due to neglect. And we can see on average that professionals recorded 3 problems per child, most often related to family conflict and housing. And we can also see registered minors in protection, and we can see a steady, slow increase in numbers being at risk because of environmental reasons or by reasons of behavior attributable to parent and behavior attributable to child, and that's the most invisible part who are actually victim of child abuse. What is the present state in 2025 as a child protection system? And child protection is really in the focus now of the government actions. And you can see that this year the Hungarian state spends more than 3.750 billion Hungarian forint on child protection and child welfare services. And this is much more than compared, for example, in 2010. Of course, it has its reasons because there are lots to do, even on the field of the general protection and the special child protection field. When we look at the institutional child protection in Hungary, it affects approximately now this year, according to numbers, 23,000 children who are not being raised by their biological families. And of these, approximately more than 15,000 children live with foster parents, while approximately 7,000 or 8,000 children are placed in children's homes or other specialized care institutions. The number of foster parents, they are increasing but fluctuated between, as you see, 5,500 and 5,900 in recent years. And the entire system of specialized child protection services, which is, as we have seen, the special part, children's homes, residential homes. It is financed by the budgetary chapter maintained by the Directorate General for Social Affairs and Child Protection. This is a centralized body. And the employment and allowances of foster parents and the care of children placed with them amount to an annual expenditure of 65 billion nationwide. And you can see all the numbers. So we are now better in numbers, but I think it takes time when we can feel also the effect on the life of these children. And what happened, and I've been also consulting with Marta Benyus, what I should focus on, and we decided to speak about a little bit of this change when the foster parent status has been changed, because it is also important that now they are employed persons. And of course, to have this shift in attitude towards foster parents might help a little bit to have this substitute care form more times. And this entitles them to social security benefits, which are also taken into account when calculating their pensions. And then you can see the amount that they get. It is not too much. But I also question myself as labor and social lawyers many times how much pressure we shall put on the state. In the case of child protection, I think lots of money is needed, but of course, as a social right and as actually human rights, of course, we cannot put loads of burden on the state on behalf, for example, of the salary of these foster parents, because this is not a huge amount of money. And this is maybe always the issue whenever we protect families and children, whether this amount of money is enough or not enough. Of course, we always have to look at the system in a complex way and to see how much services they can apply for. And of course, they together can bring a sort of evolvement in their situation. And you can also see numbers, but only till 222 about basic child care services, welfare services, in the general protection part mainly. And we can see the numbers being very steady. So they have not changed because the financing was not leveled. Maybe the numbers are going to be different after this year. And we also looked at in the book and in each country how the participation evolves. And we have got some nice examples, and we can also see here, unfortunately, we do not have that high commissioner than in other countries, but it must help. However, you can see here as well that in theory, we also have the possibility, the chance in the legal acts that these children also have representatives, but unfortunately, as we have talked about it with Marta Benyus, they cannot make themselves heard very well. So it is still in theory. And this is all about me, and I think I kept the time very well. So providing message from the Hungarian child protection system, I can summarize as I did it at the beginning, that we have got in theory so many things. In practice, we still need to do lots of things. However, at least we have got the principles and the standards, because from that point, if we discuss, if we debate, there might be evolvement and development. So thank you so much.